The Wall Street rally takes a breather as headline indices close with minor losses. Shares of Apple hit an all-time high in intraday trade but closed with cuts despite the company unveiling a host of new products at its worldwide developer conference last night. Stocks in the Asia-Pacific trade mixed following a weak handover from Wall Street. The SGX Nifty also indicates a lower start for the Indian market. Oil gives up gains made in the previous session following Saudi Arabia's announcement of voluntary production cuts for July. Brent now trades around $76 a barrel. And the Monetary Policy Committee's three-day meeting gets underway today with the decision due to be announced on Thursday. The CNBC TV18 Citizens Monetary Policy Committee votes unanimously for a status quo, but the panel is divided on when the rate cuts will begin. Only 2 members of the 5-member committee expect a rate cut in 2023. And Apple unveils its first major product since 2014 in the form of an augmented reality headset, Vision Pro, which will be launched next year and will retail for nearly $3,500. New offerings include 3 new Mac series laptops, FaceTime and Apple TV, and operating system upgrades for existing products. Hi guys, good morning and welcome to Power Breakfast. I'm Pavitra Parekh. Those are the top headlines that we're looking at as we get into this brand new trading day. There's lots to talk about, but the global handover has been a little bit tepid today. So, taking a little bit of a breather after that solid rally that we've been seeing in the US markets. The Dow was down around 200 points, but on the back of that, you have most Asian markets which are trading with some cuts today. So you have, and it's not too much of a cut at all, but you are seeing some amount of red across trades, Shanghai. Actually a lot of them have recovered right now, I do have to say. So the Taiwanese index is in the green. You have Hang Seng, which is trading with a 0.3% kind of move up. The Taiwanese index up around 20 points as well. So there has been a bit of a recovery in the Asian markets, but there's not too much of a move at all. The Korean markets, remember, are shut on account of a holiday. The SGX Nifty, by the way, will come up for you. It is indicating quite a flat start for our own markets. We're around 15 points lower on the SGX Nifty after, that 60-point run that we saw yesterday. So that's the shape of the Asian market. But let's also talk about the US now, because Wall Street ended yesterday's trading session lower. The Dow closed around 200 points in the red, and the S&P 500 and Nasdaq were pretty flat at the end of the session. We have CNBC's Pippa Stevens, who gets us a wrap of all of that action.
A down day on Wall Street. The Dow shed around 200 points. The S&P ended 0.2% lower, and the Nasdaq also finished in the red. Apple announcing its much-anticipated mixed reality headset called the Vision Pro at its developers conference in Cupertino today. The device marks Apple's first major new product since 2014. The Vision Pro will let users see apps in a new way, overlaying them atop the physical world. It can also be used for watching movies, gaming, even to use Microsoft Office tools. But the Vision Pro will not be cheap with a $3,500 price tag. It's set to hit the shelves early next year. Shares of Coinbase and the entire crypto space tumbling after the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission sued Binance and its founder today for securities violations. The SEC alleges Binance operated as an illegal U.S. exchange, sold unregistered securities, and commingled billions of dollars worth of user funds and sent them to another unregulated trading company controlled by CZ, the co-founder. CZ has dismissed the allegations. That's what's happening here in the U.S. Back to you in Mumbai.
All right, thanks a lot for getting us all of those cues from the U.S. markets. But speaking of the U.S., the Fed's policy decision is the next real big cue that we're tracking from the U.S. market. So let's listen in to some commentary coming in from Allianz's Chief Economic Advisor, Mohammad El-Erian, as well as former Fed Reserve Vice Chairman Roger Ferguson ahead of the crucial FOMC meet, which kicks off next week.
The Fed is going to skip, meaning that it's not going to raise rates here, but it will be inclined to do so again in July, that it resume hiking. That, I think, some Fed officials believe gives them optionality, gives them a month more of data, and then they can decide. I don't think that is the right approach. I think that's the muddled middle. I think the time has come to either go after your 2% target for inflation and therefore hike again, or acknowledge internally that 2% is the wrong target and therefore pause. what they are likely to do, according to what they guided and according to what the market believes now, is going to end up being the muddled middle.
Look, I've said that they've got 1 or 2 more moves to go. I think Friday certainly reinforces that there's underlying strength in the economy. There were a few elements there that were a little weaker than expected. So I think, the overall story, though, is really unchanged. The question is there a pause this time? If there's a pause, that is not the prelude to the end. It is just simply a chance to take stock. Tick up in the unemployment rate, I wouldn't put too much weight on that, but that could lead to the willingness to take a little bit of a pause.
Okay, widespread expectations there of maybe a pause coming through in the next FOMC meeting, which, like I said, is in the coming week. But with that, let's move on and bring you the final update on our global market wrap this morning. European markets started on the weak foot. So we had the French CAC, which was down around 70 points. The German DAX index slipped around 90 points as well. And the FTSE closed with some minor losses, like you can see on your screen. Not too much of a cut there. UBS now expects to complete its takeover of rival Credit Suisse as early as the 12th of June. And this will then create a Swiss banking giant with a balance sheet of $1.6 trillion. So that's important from the Eurozone region. And ECB Governor Council member Boris Vucic also says that the disinflationary process in Europe is underway and more data is required to really determine the pace of the process. Remember, the next ECB rate meeting is set in just about 10 days from now, so on the 15th of June. That's what we're tracking across the global markets. But with that, we're going to get into a short break. When we return, we're going to shift the focus on all domestic cues that you should really watch ahead of the market open today. Stay with us.
A road trip in a CNG car.
Where will all the luggage go?
OMG! It's CNG!
Big boot, big appeal, big reaction. OMG! It's the Altroz ICNG.
What does your investment portfolio look like without gold? Incomplete. Because as a gold owner, you have the power to make bold decisions. To balance risks and returns. The power to buy and sell right at your fingertips. Making gold your strategic advantage.
Without which, your portfolio is incomplete.
Power your portfolio with gold. World Gold Council.
Keeping up with the pace of life is not easy. To find the perfect balance, we need to savor the pause. See? It never ends.
दुनिया में कुछ लोग कहते हैं और कुछ लोग करते हैं। जब कहा गया देश में सोलर पावर सफल नहीं हो सकता, तो हमने सुना नहीं, उसे सफल कर दिखाया। कहा देश का सबसे बड़ा पावर प्लांट बनाना इम्पॉसिबल, तो हमने पॉसिबल कर दिया। बोला कोने कोने तक बिजली पहुंचाना किसी के बस की बात नहीं, हमने पहुंचा दी। सवाल उठे एनवायरमेंट फ्रेंडली गैस सब तक कैसे पहुंचेगी? हमने वो भी पहुंचा दी। कहा तो ये भी गया पैकेज फूड बिजनेस हमसे नहीं हो पाएगा, लेकिन हमने कर दिखाया। बातें उठी सीमेंट सेक्टर में हम कभी स्ट्रांग नहीं बन सकते, तो हमने सुना नहीं, बन के दिखाया। चर्चा हुई देश में इतना बड़ा पोर्ट बनाना असंभव, हमने संभव कर दिखाया। और जब कहा गया देश के एयरपोर्ट्स इंटरनेशनल स्टैंडर्ड्स के नहीं हो सकते, तब भी हमने सुना नहीं, कर दिए। मुश्किलों की नहीं सुनते, हम करके दिखाते हैं। अदानी, हम करके दिखाते हैं।
I'm a chameleon. It's my job to change color. But your wealth manager? Well, they shouldn't be copying me, you know. You know that. Choose Nuvama. We only do what's right for you and your money. Nuvama. Let's do it right.
Welcome back. You're still tuned into Power Breakfast. We've gone through all of the global market cues, but let's talk about all of the individual domestic cues that you should track ahead of the market open today as well. We have our research team here to prep you up for the session. Mangalam, Reema and Surbhi are all here for exactly that. Guys, a very good morning to all of you. Reema, let me come to you first. Take us through everything we should watch in terms of cues for the market today.
Well, the global cues are a bit sideways. U.S. markets slipped a bit. The Dow was down 0.6%, but the Asian markets are showing a bit of a recovery. The SGX Nifty is suggesting a very mild downtick. But remember, the markets are close to that 18,600 mark. And for the last 4 times, I was just looking, Monday was the 4th instance in the last 6 trading sessions that the Nifty 50 index crossed that 18,600 mark intraday, but failed to sustain above those levels. So this 18,600 plus is a bit of a congestion zone. And this morning, it's not that we've got robust global cues to help push us higher. Last week as well, the intraday high on the Nifty was a level of 18,662. So that's going to be a very crucial zone. Yesterday, Ambit called the beginning of this 18,600, 18,700 a wall of worry for the markets because we've been unable to climb it for the last few sessions. The mid-cap index has been doing pretty okay. In fact, yesterday was the 11th consecutive session that the mid-cap index closed in the green, though in terms of percentage moves, the mid-cap index gain was less than that of the frontline index. In terms of flows, the DIIs bought nearly 1,200 crore in the cash market. The FIs sold 700 crore in the cash market. The FIs have now sold for the 3rd consecutive day. The big cue this week is going to be the policy. The outcome will be only known on Thursday, but watch for the financial stocks in anticipation, the way they position ahead of the RBI monetary policy. But in terms of individual names, yesterday, Reliance Industries, Reliance Industries has been an outperformer. But yesterday, Reliance Industries woke up, it did well, and it saw nearly 1,200 crore plus of delivery volumes. A couple of the other notable stocks with delivery volumes include Infosys with 1,000 crores and Axis Bank with 650 crore. Back to you.
All right, Reema, thanks a lot for bringing us all of those cues. That is everything that we're tracking for the markets. But let's talk about some of the individual stocks also that you can keep on your radar today. We have Surbhi here with that entire list. Hi, Surbhi.
Hi, Pavitra. So not many cues when it comes to individual stocks. Let's start with IEX. They've come up with their May business update. For the month of May, their volumes were up 8% on a year-on-year basis, but the prices, that was down 30%. Godrej Consumer, the board appoints Asif Malbari as the CFO with effect from 10th of August 2023. JK Cement is going to buy 100% of Toshali Cements for 157 crores. CSB Bank, Satish Gunevar takes charge as CFO. That was effective of yesterday. And lastly, IQ Lighting will also be in focus as the issue opens today.
Okay, Surbhi, thanks a lot for that. Finally, let's talk about all of the cues from the futures and options space. Mangalam is here with that. Mangalam, like Reema was pointing out, we did close below that 18,600 mark, but what can we watch today?
Well, apart from the futures and options, I'm just looking at the future, and the future is Vision Pro. That was pretty cool from WWDC. But talk about, the F&O space itself. Yesterday, it was a very range-bound trade, almost 60 points in terms of a range between the high and the low on the Nifty itself. And the SGX Nifty is indicating a slightly soft start, but nothing really to worry because the markets are in a range. For us, the bigger cue is the RBI policy than anything else. The only thing that needs to be monitored is the FII selling. After big buying in the month of May, the 3 sessions that we've had in June, they've sold 71, 659 and 701 odd crores on all these days. So around 1,500 crores is what they've sold in the last 3 trading sessions itself. In index futures, we saw some long positions being added, about 6,000 longs and about 1,500 short positions being covered, as a result of which the FII long short in index futures is close to 50-50 itself. What was positive, however, was there was more put selling than call selling. That's telling you that there is support at the lower level. 1.29 lakh put contracts were written as against 0.86 lakh call contracts. But where were these written? 18,600 was extremely active. We had 18,550 put extremely active as well. So 18,600 put has a premium of 50 odd rupees. 18,550 put comes up for you a premium of 37 rupees. On the way up, 18,650 call and 18,700 calls. Both of them were extremely active. 18,650 call, a premium of around 54 rupees. 18,700 call, a premium of close to around 33, 34 rupees. So what does this basically imply? That option writers have positioned themselves for a range of 18,500 to 18,700 on the Nifty. The index to watch out for today will be the Nifty Financial Services. Its weekly options expiry there. And out there, if you just take a look at the options, 19,550 and 19,600 calls are extremely active. And on the way down, it's the 19,400 put which is extremely active. Last Tuesday, in the last hour, we saw a big up move in Nifty Financial Services. Can we see a down move or an up move today? Is the question we'll know the answer to only at 3 p.m.
All right, and we will wait by and see how that pans out. Mangalam, thanks a lot for taking us through those cues. With that, we're going to get into a short break. On the other side, we are going to track all of the commodity action. Also, since Mangalam is so excited about the Vision Pro, and I'm sure a lot of you are, we're going to get you all of the details on Apple's very cool new AR headset.
CNG is good. But to get something, you have to give up something.
OMG! It's CNG! Big boot, big appeal, big reaction. OMG! It's the Altroz ICNG.
नई कार खरीदने से पहले ऐको चेक करें और 36,000 तक बचाएं।
Now is the time to participate in the growth of world-class companies in one of the fastest growing economies.
Beat volatility and make your money work for you 24/7 by investing in the best mutual fund schemes to meet your financial goals.
Multiply your money by profitable investing in SIDE from India's biggest mutual fund manager.
Bandhan Mutual Fund presents MF Corner at these times.
Presented by Bandhan Mutual Fund.
अभी और कितने चक्कर लगाने पड़ेंगे सर जी?
आप इतनी सी बात क्यों नहीं समझते सर जी? आप हमारा ध्यान रखो, हम आपका ध्यान रखेंगे। 9501-200-200 ये
एंटी करप्शन एक्शन लाइन।
मैडम जी आप बेकार में परेशान हो रहे हो। मैं कराता हूँ ना 2 दिन में आपका काम। आप तो बस चढ़ावा चढ़ा देना, घर बैठे आ जाएगा आपका लाइसेंस। आपको ड्राइविंग टेस्ट की भी जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी।
पक्का?
पक्का जी पक्का।
तो आपने एक नंबर लिखिए, जब बन जाएगा तो उस पे कॉल करिएगा।
9501-200-200
एंटी करप्शन एक्शन लाइन।
अगर आपसे भी कोई रिश्वत मांगे तो कॉल करें 9501-200-200। एंटी करप्शन एक्शन लाइन से पिछले 1 साल में अब तक 300 से ज्यादा भ्रष्टाचारी गिरफ्तार हो चुके हैं। पंजाब में रिश्वत लेने वालों की अब खैर नहीं।
पंजाब के लोगों को ये संदेश देना चाहता हूँ, पंजाब को भ्रष्टाचार मुक्त बनाना हमारा वादा ही नहीं, गारंटी है।
I'm slow. I'm a tortoise. But your wealth managers, they shouldn't be as slow, you know?
Choose Nuvama. We move at the right pace because we only do what's right for you and your money. Nuvama. Let's do it right.
Welcome back to Power Breakfast. Let's talk about the commodity space as promised. Manisha is here with an update. Manisha, what's making headlines in the space?
Morning, Pavitra. Well, it really is going to be about what kind of data we see in sense of the trade numbers from China, and that is keeping the markets jittery. As of now, of course, it is about the U.S. services PMI number as well, which has led to some buying come back in case of the gold prices. Not so much for metals, because as we have seen the U.S. equities take a pause, is exactly the kind of scenario or the mood that you have seen in Asia right now. So the energy markets are slightly off the kind of highs that we saw. 0.5% of a decline is how the crude prices are working with, and that's exactly for the metal prices also. While we did see copper prices gain up, everything else like aluminum, zinc, nickel has seen a bit of a decline in the overnight markets there. The strength, though, has come back in case of gold prices, with the U.S. ISM services PMI showing a sluggish growth, and the U.S. Fed meeting in focus, where the probability of Fed pausing rates now is at 78%, really seems to be supporting the prices. Also, a modest decline in the U.S. dollar and Treasury seems to be doing the trick as well. So apart from gold and silver trading in the positive, almost everything else is trading marginally in the negative.
All right, Manisha, thanks a lot for getting us that quick wrap of everything that's going on in the world of commodities. But with that, let's also listen in to Edward Morse of Citi on what he makes of the OPEC Plus's decision and the oil market at large. Hear him out.
Well, I think it will have an impact in getting prices to a higher level. Whether it gets to the level that they're looking at is another matter. The market, is down, and it was down because fundamentals have been extremely weak, far more than what the claim was on people in managed money shorting the market. It is a really weak physical market, and there's nothing showing strength. Demand is down, actually, and supply is up. 12 months, we see an even weaker market than we see now, to tell you the truth.
All right, that is an important word on the oil markets. But with that, let's focus now on a very interesting event that, like we've been mentioning to you, Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference, which was late last night. Apple unveiled its first major product since 2014 in the form of augmented reality headset, which is Vision Pro. This will be launched next year, and it will retail for nearly $3,500. So it's coming at a hefty price. New offerings also include 3 new Mac series laptops, FaceTime for Apple TV, as well as operating system upgrades. My colleague Shibani actually traveled all the way to the conference and is here to tell us more about everything that she saw there. Shibani.
Apple's much-anticipated Worldwide Developers Conference 2023 began on Monday with the tech giant announcing some cool new features and devices. Here are a few of them. First up, let's speak about the Vision Pro, which is an ambitious project, Apple's first mixed reality headset, with Tim Cook calling it the first Apple product that you look through, not at. It is a revolutionary spatial computer that will be in the market starting early next year. First time in the US market and then into the other markets. It costs $3,499. Then the updated Mac Studio is also here and is debuting the M2 Ultra chip. The Mac Pro 2 made its debut during this event, and like the updated Mac Studio, this comes powered with the M2 Ultra chipset as well. Then we have the world's thinnest 15-inch laptop, which is the MacBook Air, which was again announced during the keynote, at which, let me tell you, this device is also powered with the M2 chipset. So it's not just lightweight, but also very, very powerful. And it just weighs 3.3 pounds and is just 11.5 mm thin. Now, when it comes to software announcements, the much awaited iOS 17 has also arrived. Some of the major updates have been announced, especially in the communications app space, including those for FaceTime and messages. Now, there is also a feature called Name Drop, which will allow transfer of information or information to be exchanged between 2 iPhones by just tapping the devices together. Name drop actually can also be done between an iPhone and an Apple Watch. Now, along with this, there is also an updated iPad OS 17, Mac OS 10, Watch OS 10, TV OS, and all of these announcements were made during the keynote at WWDC.
All right, very exciting to check out all of those new offerings that, we can expect from Apple very soon. That is, everything that we got from the conference last night. But with that, we're going to wind down in this edition of Power Breakfast with the news that the Asian markets are pretty mixed, but no real direction coming through. Just some minor gains and losses on both sides. The SGX Nifty just around 10 points in the red. Thanks for tuning in to Power Breakfast. We have Bazaar Morning Call up in 2.